According to the Centennial Survey report of the year 2003, the prevalence rate of HIV/AIDS in the FCT was above 10%, making it one of the highest in the country, a situation that could not be allowed to continue. Good evening and welcome to Challenges of Courage. Today, we shall be exploring the effort of the FCT administration in carrying out the mandate given to him by Mr. President to aggressively control HIV/AIDS pandemic in the FCT.
Abuja represents a symbol of what Nigeria should be, a diverse, multicultural, multi-ethnic, and multi-religious city where people have learned to live in harmony based on rules and regulations.
The first 25 years in the development of the FCT saw the new capital city experiencing a population surge that far outnumbered the projections of the planners. As the people increased, the facilities on ground could not cater for their teeming needs. This influx and the changing lifestyles of the people was one of the reasons the rate of HIV was very high in the city.
You will remember that the Federal Capital Territory is like a lot of people coming into the Federal Capital Territory from all over Nigeria, whether from the south, from the north, just west or east. So we have a lot of people in here, and of course you know that the population here is pretty high now.
This ugly situation could not continue in the nation's capital city. The inclusion, therefore, of the mandate to aggressively fight the pandemic by the President to the Honorable Minister was timely. Part of the reforms of the Minister upon assumption of office included setting up 5 mandate secretariats. In the Health and Human Services Secretariat, an HIV care unit was set up purposely to help fight the menace.
In the area of health sector response, you know, currently the fight against HIV is multi-dimensional. You have so many sectors now involved. So the Secretariat is in charge of the health sector response in all our health institutions and others. That is, in summary, what is the role of the Secretariat. So they carry out the programs involving, we carry out the program involving the health sector alone.
Mallam Nasir El-Rufai also repositions the FCT Action Committee on AIDS, FACA. According to the coordinator of FACA, previous attempts at combating the spread of HIV/AIDS in Abuja were hampered by a lack of political will on the part of previous administrations.
Before El-Rufai's administration, the FCT Action Committee on AIDS as a structure was there. But if I'm to describe it, it was in coma. When you say something is in coma, of course, almost lifeless. The people who are there, members of the committees were there, but they had good ideas, but no resources to put those ideas into action.
In order to meet the challenges in the battle for control of the virus, the El-Rufai administration empowered the committee with funds and other support needed to fight the scourge.
He empowered us. He gave life to FCT Action Committee on AIDS, and one of those things he did was to actually provide an office space where we are occupying today and furnish it to a standard that meets the international standard. And of course, I remember even when the World Bank team came to this office, after he acquired the office and furnished it, they commended his efforts. They know they were 100% sure that he is committed to the fight against HIV/AIDS.
The Honourable Minister has done pretty well because of the support he has given, not only FACA, but at least he's given us his political will. Through this, an MOU was signed, and we've now been able to get these drugs for free now to give our patients. You know, so the United States government, at least I can tell you, and I categorically tell you that we don't like the drugs here at all. I think we have enough stocks to last us for a while.
Today, in the FCT, the issue of ignorance about the virus can be said to have come to an end. More than 90% of the residents of the Federal Capital Territory have been enlightened through awareness campaigns and other programs.
We would liaise with NGOs, community-based organizations, to ensure that the framework of HIV/AIDS is addressed, they mainstream HIV/AIDS into their activities, and they link up with the community level, so that the residents of FCT are well informed. And this we've been doing over the years. Today I can confidently tell you that because of this coordination role, 95% of the residents of FCT are aware of HIV/AIDS.
With the awareness now on, in collaboration with FACA, doing the other advocacies and so forth, I think the awareness is great, because we know the number of patients we see in our clinic, and I can tell you that it has been on the increase.
The FCT administration has also provided what is known as support services for people living with the virus. This is geared towards helping them live positively.
We prepare your mind for the realities of living with HIV/AIDS. We usually link individuals, depending on your location, to different support groups. We have over 15 support groups of people living with HIV/AIDS in FCT. If you live in a particular location, we know which support groups you can link you up with, so that you attend their meetings. And by the time you attend their meetings, you understand the reality of HIV/AIDS. You know you are not alone. You know there are many other people living with HIV/AIDS. I can use this opportunity to also make reference to our minister. In some instances where we had meetings with him, he will tell you, Dr. Vacha, whatsoever we can do to alleviate the burden of HIV/AIDS on those who are already infected and families affected by HIV/AIDS, let's do our best.
Correct the mistakes of the past.
30 years ago, the dream of the first African capital city was conceived.
Launch tenders to do
A vision to provide a befitting capital, one which will be African pride.
This is the most successful new capital in world history.
Abuja, Nigeria, an international conference center, meeting point of the peoples of the world for dialogue, reconciliation, sports, peace, and business. Abuja, Nigeria, taking its rightful position in the world arena. Spark recreational facilities, functional infrastructure, and warm people. Abuja, Nigeria, the first African-made capital city.
The Mallam Nasir El-Rufai administration has yet recorded another giant stride with the signing of a contract worth 1.8 billion naira for the procurement and installation of 30,000 automated prepaid water meters. During the signing of the contract on the 1st of March 2007, the FCT minister expressed dissatisfaction with the fact that about 60% of the FCT residents don't pay their water bills. He therefore said that this strategy will help with prompt payments of water bills by residents.
The meters we are buying from Hampok are more advanced meters that do not require physical inspection and so on, because they use wireless technology to capture readings. And there will be prepaid meters such that if you do not pay and charge your meter in the middle of your bath with soap all over you, the water supply will go off. So it is in your best interest to make sure that you always prepay for your water. So this is what we are doing really. We are buying the first batch of 30,000 meters. We estimate that we will need about 80,000 meters to cover the city.
He mentioned that this was the first installment More meters will be procured in the future.
At least 300,000 naira is spent monthly by the FCT administration to provide care and support for those living with the virus. Mallam Nasir El-Rufai is leaving no stone unturned in the fight against the pandemic. Realizing that testing positive to the virus is not the end of one's life, consumables, food items, drugs, and even microcredit is also made available for people living with HIV/AIDS.
During the interactive session also, we give them food items. We also update them on the availability of microcredit for the less privileged among them. That is how the 4 beneficiaries of the housing scheme benefited. We established a criteria, because even among people living with HIV/AIDS, there are some that are more comfortable than others. We are looking critically at those ones that are really in critical needs for basic needs of life. So I will address their needs. We will try to bring them to the same level. That is one of the directives we received from the minister. So the FCT administration have done very well to address the issues of people living with HIV/AIDS.
Government hospitals in the city are equipped with what is known as heart-to-heart centers, where free HIV/AIDS testing and counseling services are provided. This is another measure by the FCT administration to control the spread of the virus.
One of the things we do here is, apart from counseling patients with HIV/AIDS, we are also involved in the treatment of and management of these cases, because right now we have the drugs. The Nigerian government, in collaboration with the United States government, through the Global Fund, the HIV, through the GAIN program in particular, our patients are now able to access the drugs for free.
And we have 3 of our centers currently that are already providing the services in collaboration with GAIN, Global HIV/AIDS Initiative of Nigeria. We are providing comprehensive care. What I mean by comprehensive care is that you have all the care at all levels taking place in those 3 centers. That is Wuse, Maitama, and Asukuru Hospital. They are providing all the 3 levels of care in those 3 centers. Where the other centers are providing the basic thing, the VCTs, which is the entry point to the care, and PMTCT, which is another area of intervention.
You know, sometimes we are bound to be morally down. At such moments, you need somebody to talk to.
Counseling forms an integral part of the services given to those who visit the center for testing.
Counseling is key. It's very, very important. It means that it helps the person to create awareness about his or her health. Health is a gift, and you must take care of that which is so given to you free of charge. So the counseling puts them in a proper frame of mind to be able to take charge of their life. So it's very, very important. And then, because you have already prepared their mind and told them that the result can either be positive or negative, they are anxious. They want to know. And when they know, it's a plus on their side. They'll be able to know whether they will access drugs. You see, if you don't counsel somebody and eventually the person will need drug, it will not work. The person might not take the drug. He might just take it and go and dump it somewhere. But when somebody knows that this is a drug that is very useful to the person, it's a life-saving drug, you see the response is overwhelming, because everybody wants to stay alive.
The establishment of the heart-to-heart centers in the various hospitals in the FCT has helped in the actualization of the presidential assignment given to the minister. The success of this scheme has spread beyond the shores of Abuja. A monthly interactive session has also been introduced for people living with HIV. The sessions, which also involves stakeholders, NGOs and health workers, provide an opportunity for the people living with the virus to ask questions on issues related to their status. Counseling and other vital information that will improve their well-being is shared at this forum.
It basically what we do during interactive session is usually last Tuesday of the month, and everybody who have registered with FCT Action Committee, today we have over almost 2,000 people on our list who have registered with us. They attend that interactive session. For many of them, it's not about the food item that is being provided. For many of them, it's about update presentations, information that is available on HIV/AIDS. Because many of them are waiting for the day that they will be told of a major breakthrough in the treatment or management of HIV/AIDS. They are also waiting patiently on very scientific informations that can help them as individuals to manage their condition so that they can live the way they would have wished to live without the infection.
The El-Rufai administration is also collaborating with the United States government to access drugs that will improve the immune system of the people living with HIV/AIDS. To this end, the FCT was quick to implement the provision of free antiretroviral drugs to persons living with the virus.
Through this administration, we have been able to, the United States government got into an agreement. There was a memorandum of understanding entered into with this present administration. That is why we now have this program here. This program here, incidentally, is about a year plus now. We actually started this program, offering free drugs since September 2005. That was when we started this program here. So this admission has done a lot. At least drugs can now be assessed by our patients for free. They don't have to pay anything. If you recall that before now, not many centers were offering this particular program, number one. Number two, the drugs were pretty expensive and it was out of reach of the common man.
Apart from antiretroviral drugs, immune boosters containing various vitamins are also given out free to people living with the virus.
This is the immune booster that we give to people living with HIV/AIDS on a monthly basis in FCT. It's basically to improve the immune status of individuals by stimulating the production of those cells that are primarily responsible for the protections of the body system in terms of invasion from bacteria and other related particles like the virus. Once somebody takes this immune booster, the tendency for the CD4 count to improve is there. Research was conducted, a randomized control trial was conducted with this particular drug. And the evidence that was available after the research shows that the death rate among people who are living with HIV/AIDS who are placed on these drugs was reduced by 48% as compared to those who are not infected. As compared to those who are not on this drug.
For people living with the virus and who have been stigmatized by the disease and disowned by family and friends, Abuja, Nigeria offers them hope for survival.
Our relations have run away from our people. Just like the only person that is supporting us now is my mother. Her own parents have rejected her. Even my father will not allow us to touch anything. Again, they will infect them. When we are admitted here, like I was here for 4 months, the bed was free, and they used to give us provisions. Sometimes they will bring milk and tea and other things and give us.
The good news is that through conscious effort and commitment, victory is gradually being achieved by the El-Rufai administration. The prevalence rate of HIV/AIDS in the FCT has reduced from 10% to 5%.
And we are now the 5th in the whole country. Another one is going to be carried out this year, and we hope, because of the interventions we have put in place, even in the last 2 years, that the rate will drop further. There had been a difference in the preference rate since this administration came up, but we cannot say where we should sit down and fold our hands. We still need a lot of work to be done to further bring it down even far below the national prevalence rate, which is 4.4.
The man behind the success story in the fight against HIV/AIDS, Mallam Nasir El-Rufai, speaks on the winning formula employed by his administration.
We have a duty to support them. And how do we support them? We ensure that they get the best medical attention possible. They get antiretroviral drugs if they are due for that. If their count is not up to the level that they need antiretrovirals, we support them with subsidized food, because if you have good food, the HIV will not progress as fast into full-blown AIDS. So really that's what we've been doing. Every Nigerian is entitled to be supported by the government, to have basic education and basic health care. That is what we believe in FCT, and all that we've been doing for those infected with HIV is to give them that basic support, which every government, I believe, must do. It's just that HIV is taken as some kind of special disease. It is not. It is like any disease. And this is our own attitude, and we've tried to empower them. We don't want them to feel helpless just because they have a disease. They should stand up and get on with their lives. The important thing is to have good nutrition and to have the medicines if you need them. That's it.
It is good to know that in the battle for control, the El-Rufai administration is gaining the upper hand over the dreaded HIV/AIDS virus. As Mallam Nasir El-Rufai is running off his presidential mandate, we must join hands in sustaining this effort by spreading the message and not the virus. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.